Bitcoin's running the show, and it's probably not the best time to trade altcoins. So anytime you'll see a big altcoin crash like we've just saw this weekend, that Bitcoin dominance shot's going to go up. So on the flip side of that, if you want to go long on altcoins, you're going to be looking for Bitcoin dominance to be going down. And if you also want to get further into the weeds, you want to look into like tether dominance and the total 2 and total 3 charts as well. But that's another story. But with Bitcoin dominance, with right now, I mean, I kind of totally see it going up more from here, because you have to think like, with all these coins being called securities, Bitcoin isn't on that list. Bitcoin, thank God, is considered a commodity by the SEC. And until anything like that changes, like with all the paper hands bailing out of altcoins, everyone's really scared right now. There's a lot of fear. That's no secret. I mean, Bitcoin has always been strong, and Bitcoin has never been more reliable than it is right now. And in terms with Bitcoin, yeah, we have fallen down a good amount since we put in like that little high. What was that? April 13th. But we're technically still in an overall uptrend from the beginning of the year. We're going to have to break down below like 25, 24 for that. And we're still above that critical 25-2 level, which if we break that, I'd be kind of upset. But as of right now, we're technically still in an uptrend.
Yeah, I was looking at, I did see some lower lows, but I seem to see some pretty good support holding up a lot of these coins. Now, Army Piper, there's a lot alts being hit hard. Bitcoin is gaining its dominance, like AJ was saying, but we have some newer coins that have been kind of slipping under the radar. Everyone's bringing up the older coins that maybe existed a year ago, 5 years ago, but I haven't heard anyone talk about SWI. Haven't heard anyone talk about Aptos. I haven't heard any regulators go after Arbitrum. Haven't heard Coinbase, delisting any of these assets. Do you think it's a good idea to get in some of these newer alts? Because any enforcement action, if it happens, could be years away.
So here's the problem with some of those tokens. Like, for example, I believe it's what was it? It's SUI. SUI has horrible tokenomics, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like they only had 5% of their entire release out of tokens at first, and then they just did another airdrop, and it still dropped even with the airdrop. Like, didn't do anything for it. All it did was liquidate and dilute the valuation of the tokens that were out there. So I mean, there's a lot of other better projects out there. Maybe Arbitrum. I feel a little bit, safe with some Arbitrum in my thing, but I wouldn't be touching SUI. And Aptos, it's been around long enough that what its performance level is going to be. I don't think it's going to touch some of the other stuff out there. I think we're at the point right now that honestly, you should look at, look at your XRP, look at your Ethereums, look at your Bitcoin, and diversify into those three with your majority of your portfolio. Add the other stuff in there on some small end, a little bit higher risk, but a little bit higher reward, but a little bit more risk, just a little bit less of your portfolio percentage. I think there's ways that you can make moves, and that SUI would not be the one that I would go after. You might even want to keep some dry powder at this point, guys, because there's no guarantee what's coming up with the FOMC and the CPI data tomorrow. And when you look at that information that's going to be dropping on the alpha side, you might want some dry powder because we don't know exactly what's coming ahead. And we still do, at the end of the day, have people talking every day about the big recession that's coming, the longest awaited, most forewarned recession in American economic history. So if it does occur, might want to keep some dry powder handy and get some more of the things that are going to grow and matter.
The ever-changing definitional, recession, whether or not. I pulled up SWI's tokenomics. A really good day today. It is up almost 10%. It's up 8.9. But if you look, it's only had 5.28% of the tokens released. So less than 6% of the tokens are out. At 1 billion, that would be 10%. We're at 52% of that. So 5.2, not looking great for that token right there. Well, I brought up some of the newer coins. Forrest, I want to ask you about the existing coins that have been targeted. There's two in particular. Me and you have spoken at length on this show. One is Polygon. The other is Solana. Both of those are down. They're down quite extensively. They're both around 25% decline on the 7-day. Does that affect your long-term prognosis on these coins' capability to survive?
In my opinion, this rampage that the SEC is on is probably going to come to an end. And even if worst case scenario happens and it doesn't, we're already seeing the crypto space. It's global and it's just going to continue to move offshore. China, on the other hand, is ramping up. I saw some news today that some Chinese bank just minted like $28 million on the Ethereum blockchain today, and it's like stable coins or treasuries or something along those lines. This space it's inevitable. Whether or not the SEC and Gary Gensler declares that Matic and Solana are securities in the short term, yeah, it's going to depress prices, especially when we're in a bear market. But there's going to come a day where Gary Gensler is no longer the head of the SEC. That day may be coming soon. There's some news I think we're going to be going over here just a second where maybe he's going to be removed. So I view all of these, like, I don't think that Nike, Disney, JP Morgan, and all these other, top tier blue chip companies that have partnered with Polygon are also going to get burned on Matic. I just think that the SEC is like way out of line here, and we're going to see this a return to the mean or a return to normal, and these coins aren't going to be deemed as securities. And even the last thing I'll say is, even if they are, there is a path to actually regulate these coins as securities and have them available to the United States public, right?
Really good point. Yeah, it would actually be a path to legitimacy, some are claiming, which, maybe short-term pain, but could be more of a long-term appreciation there. Kimo, so I've asked about the newer coins. I've asked about the coins that are targeted. I'm going to ask you about the third and final section of coins that I've thought of. That is going to be old coins that haven't been targeted. We were talking before the show about 2013, 2014, earlier markets. What about VeChain, Doge, Litecoin? Some of these coins have been around 5+ years. How do you feel investing in those tokens? They clearly maybe got a pass from the SEC. Is that a bullish narrative?
Who knows? The thing here is it's so unstable because everybody is saying something different, right? So one of the reasons why Gensler's on the shit list is because he won't give a final. What is a commodity? What is actually a security? And he keeps, going back and forth and not giving actually a clear answer. So there could be more coins to come. This could be just like the first wave of coins that get brought up immediately, which we don't even know if they have political ties to, if they're doing this for some other reason and having these coins are connected to other people in the world. We have no idea. I mean, this is huge, right? And then Coinbase and Binance or Coinbase going offshore. You know what I mean? Pulling away from America. This is the same thing that China did, right? They banned cryptocurrency. Boom. All of a sudden, we were at Coinbase, this 2000, probably 18, 19 or whatever. And we're like, woohoo. And it goes up. But first, it went really, really, really far down, right? That was like 3,500 Bitcoin. It went really far down. So this is, to me, I'm just saying, it looks like the opposite. It looks like China's banning cryptocurrency. Now America's banning cryptocurrency. And we're going to see a huge dip and then come right back up.
All right, we have a couple chats from our audience right now. One, Sezzy, VeChain, but be careful. That's his winner of those three. Kimo, this is very trippy. I'm dying over here. And also, Flat Smack, I think everyone just checked their phones. I think they did too. All right, well, let's talk about Gary Gensler. Gensler gone. Well, a bill was introduced this afternoon to fire Gary Gensler. I'm actually being serious. It was one of here's Representative Davidson. Him and House Majority Whip Tom Emmer, they introduced the SEC Stabilization Act that would restructure the SEC, would take it from its current structure and add a sixth commissioner. So no longer be a party of 5 with one person overseeing. It would be each political party would have no more than 3 seats on the body right there. And lawmakers point to what is Gensler's quote, long series of abuses that have been permitted under
the fact that he wants to destroy everything I've got my money invested into. So, no, I don't think that he's going to. I think he's going to have to be dragged away kicking and screaming, probably by this guy, because, at the end of the day, Gary Gensler's just focused on trying to get attention and try to win some brownie points for the lobbyists that are paying that all of his bed buddies, like, Elizabeth Warren. So, I don't know that he's ever going to leave. I would love to see a bill, drag him away from here. Are we freezing? But if not, it might be supposed to be as a representative. So unless we can get that unless we can. What's that?
Oh, I was gonna say, is that where the word representative comes from? They're supposed to represent us.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a
I
novel
don't.
idea.
Yeah, so there's little squiggly characters. They're actually called letters. Letters form
Hmm.
words. Words have meaning. When you compile them into a sentence format, it conveys an idea of a concept. And the idea is, I'm watching all of you, and I'm going to push the button to vote for who I think actually represents my wants, needs, and desires as an American. So.
All right. Well, speaking of representing our desires, well, I have a desire for the markets to go up. And Forrest, when we were talking about the last topic, you kind of reminded me of something. How Gary Gensler, his actions, his remarks do have weight on the crypto market as a whole. My question to you is, if we were to wake up and find out Gary Gensler did resign, was fired, this bill does pass, would we see a Gary Gensler candle? What do you think that candle would look like?
It would look big and green. Yeah. So we would definitely get a Gary Gensler candle. Look, anytime you're looking at news and how it affects the market, you have to take into account, like, is it intrinsic or extrinsic to the crypto market? Like, does it affect the crypto market directly, or does it affect the markets through some, geopolitical event or some, something outside of crypto that may affect the market, but isn't necessarily directly related to crypto? That would be super directly related to crypto, because he is crypto's biggest enemy, his enemy number one to the crypto space in the United States. The other filter that you have to look for is what kind of impact is this going to have? Like in terms of, is this news new, or is this news like already baked into the market? This news is not baked into the market whatsoever. So like we saw a big spill off when Gary Gensler came out against crypto and came out super negative, suing Binance and suing Coinbase, because it was pretty much new information. Like the market had to digest it and price it in particularly to Solana and Matic and some of the other coins that had not previously been listed, but now had been officially listed by the SEC. But the opposite, Gary Gensler being removed, has not been priced into the market. And if we were to see Gary Gensler get removed, the market would just run it all the way back up to where prices should be had he not, been so anti-crypto.
All right. Yeah, I did agree. I don't know what that print would be, but yeah, I'm guessing maybe between 5 and 10 for Bitcoin. I wouldn't be surprised if it was just significant. Hey, open the turbo long. All right. Well, AJ writes crypto. I'm asking you this question because you can relate. How does someone so unpopular remain hot? No, I'm just kidding. He is seemingly very, very unpopular. I looked at the average duration. The average duration of these SEC heads are usually 3.9 years, right? Basically, the administration length. Some people have lasted as short as 1 year. Some people as long as 10 years. This guy seemingly, maybe some people on the left support him, but people on both sides of the aisle have issues with this man. How has he not lost his job yet?
I mean, that's the question. Like Gary, this whole thing, especially politics, it's all about optics, right? It's all about how things look. And like anyone, like obviously, like Gary is a puppet. That's pretty obvious. Like when Elizabeth Warren says something, like 3 days later, Gary's like, "Oh, we should do this." It's like he's been Elizabeth's puppet forever. But they have to see how bad he looks. And from an optics point of view, it can't be that much longer. It just can't be. And I love that, Warren Davidson put this out there. Like he said he was going to do that at the hearing and nothing happened. And we were kind of like, hey, when's that thing going to happen? And it finally happened. Thank God. And, for other politicians to go on Twitter and see hashtag fire Gary Gensler trending, like his days have to be numbered at this point. If they're not numbered, I don't even know what to say. I really don't. I cannot stand. He's the most insufferable. Gary and I, we could have been boys. A couple years ago. He liked Algorand. He's talking about it. Like
best salesman I've ever seen. Next to you.
We could have been boys. And he messed it all up. So rip.
All right. Well, final question on Gensler here. You brought up some pretty good points. Kind of a puppet of Elizabeth Warren. Actually, real story. Hey, Owen, there's a spider dropping. I'm not kidding, y'all. There's a spider dropping. Can you come around and get it? Owen, I'm being for real. Freaking spider right there. I don't want it crawling on me while I'm doing the show. Back to regularly scheduled program here. DZ's arachnophobia aside. Kimo, we're talking about he's a puppet. He's a puppet of Warren. I like how Owen just doesn't move. Puppet of Biden. I don't even know what I was going to ask at this point. Okay, yeah. He is a puppet. as he gets more unpopular, do you see his two puppet masters pulling his strings? Will Biden and Elizabeth Warren continue support him despite his waning popularity?
Tough question. They'll probably cut ties just like everything else, you know, like when it's not going their way or whatever. We disassociate with that guy. You know what I mean? So I really see that it doesn't make any sense to me, right? This guy and I went to his MIT classes on blockchain. He understands how all this stuff works. Why is he doing this? It completely makes no sense whatsoever. If anybody understands cryptocurrency, I mean, when he went in at first, I thought, great, somebody who understands. Like you were saying, he understands Algorand. We could have been friends. Absolutely. He was on board. And then all of a sudden, now he's like this anti-crypto person, which doesn't make any sense. So definite puppet. And yeah, Warren and Biden will probably cut their ties with him because then what else do they have?
All right. And yeah, puppet indeed. And as I'm thinking of the strings, I just think of the string of the spider as it was dropping down. Just let the viewer know what was happening. We have studio light. So I see this spider string glistening with all these light bulbs, and it's spinning and it's 8 legs. I think they're all pointing at me. I think it might have been holding 8 knives as well. But it landed, it's gone. If you see me freak out in the next 5-10 minutes, that's probably going to be why. All right. Well, let's talk a little XRP. First, we're going to pull up the charts here because it's kind of important to the story. Besides stablecoins, folks, yeah, you might see a 0.1 here on a stablecoin. This is the 7-day for the top 50. Red. Stablecoin, red. Okay, red Bitcoin, Elio, red. But what is the one bright spot in the top 50? A little coin called XRP, up 3.6%, shaking off all of the fudge, shaking off all the downward selling pressure, gaining Satoshis, much to the haters' chagrin there. But they also are gaining some partnerships. I don't know if this is partnership moving the price action or if it's inside info, because it could be both. But University of Toronto, this is Canada's largest university, 97,000 students, the largest university in the entire country. Now it's a partnership with Ripple. University of Toronto is going to host a XRP ledger validator. This initiative in Canada, they've been spending millions. They're going to pledge to spend another 33 million. They spent 47 out of 50, pledged another 30 right there. Initiative has distributed 47 million, like I've said here. But not only that, we also had a former board member of Ripple. This isn't just some random person. A former board member of Ripple. He's a huge CEO of SBI Incorporated, multi-billion-dollar corporation there, Japanese fintech. And he was saying the lawsuit could be over in weeks. And again, I just want to point out this price action, everybody, up while the rest of the market was nuking. Now, AJ, you're looking at the charts. How do you explain this disparity? Why is Ripple going up? Is it whales buying? Is it inside knowledge? Is it the University of Toronto partnership? Why do you think XRP is gaining despite all the turmoil with the SEC?
Yeah, great question. So last week I did research for Ben that was really, really interesting. So there's this website, it's like a platform called, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, like Linquinto, LINQTO.
La Quinta. Yeah. It is a hotel chain. La Quinta.
Hold on. It's
similar to Best Western.
No, I cannot pronounce it. LINQTO. Okay, QTO. Sorry. So it's a pre-market equity platform where you can purchase before something IPOs, right? Like before Coinbase and Robinhood IPO'd, you could have got pre-equity shares from this site. They also have Ripple on there, and from 2 weeks ago to now, over $3 billion went into the pre-equity shares. And whoever has been in that, because the idea here is that if Ripple wins the case, they're going to IPO and go public, and then anyone who bought those pre-equity shares they're going to absolutely rip. And me and Ben were thinking, if $3 billion went into the pre-equity shares in 1 week of time, those people that bought those shares must know something we don't. They must know something we don't. $3 billion don't just go into a risky something that might IPO. You know, that doesn't just happen. People know something we don't. And apparently it shows here. I mean, XRP does have to get over 58 cents to not have a double top. But I do like that it hasn't gone down with the rest of the market. I think, you know, it's this case has been ending next week for 2 years. But we really might be getting close this time.
Well, I kind of agree with that, Army Piper. You know, it's been close for 2 years now. Some would say, hey, I mean, it started 2.5 years ago, so maybe even longer. This time, you know, I want to ask you, does it feel different? Now we're talking about a 100-millionaire Japanese fintech CEO, former board member, plus the contrary price action. Do the rumors feel more real this time?
I think they do. First off, XRP Army for life.
No
You gotta love it. You gotta love it. So here's the thing, guys. It does feel different. And the reason is because we now have the Hinman documents, Hinman emails going to be released tomorrow morning. So that's why it's pumping the way it is. Everyone is speculating that these emails are going to be very damning to Gary Gensler and the SEC, and I think they're absolutely right. So, of course, I'm in on it too. I got into a trade that I'm up right now about 18%, I believe. Yeah, 17.10%. So, absolutely is speculation moving it, but there is a lot of money that's moving into XRP right now that's making some very beautiful look to it. And I read an article recently talking about Ripple doing an IPO. That Ripple itself may be listed on the NASDAQ this time next year. I mean, how crazy would that be, right? That's the ultimate smack in the face to Gary Gensler. By the way, you hate us so much, we're now a traded security, and thank you. Have a good life. But when you look at the price, I want to point something out. Since September of last year, for a top, going to the bottom on January 1st, if you put that in, you'll see that there's actually the platinum pocket. A lot of people know the golden pocket. Platinum pocket runs between the 786 to the 887, and that's where we've been trading at for 2 weeks, in the middle of the platinum pocket. Every time we go down, and every time someone starts to sell it off, and FUD starts to knock it off of its high horse, it hits that 786. It might wick down below it on a fake out, but it pulls right back up in there. We're getting ready to run up into that currently right now as we speak. We're about 4/1000ths of a penny away from breaking that again. And I do believe when it does that, it is going to go up to that 58 cents. And as we get closer to the Hinman emails tomorrow, we're going to see the XRP break out. When you look at everything in the market right now, bottom line is, if you look at every single thing on the market, nothing has a better risk to reward ratio return than what we're seeing with XRP. 3 years of suppressed price, 3 years of no one even having access to it in the United States, unless you were using a VPN or something. Hint. But when you look at that, if this comes out in their favor, or even if it comes out that it's a neutral favor, and they can start opening up again and selling, it gets relisted on Coinbase, nothing is going to rocket harder than XRP for the rest of this year. I guarantee.
All right. We got an excited chat, a whole lot of yeses and +1 pipers. We got a hell yeah exclamation point. But then on the other end of the spectrum, flat smack, XRP is all about emotions. It seems like they are fanatics. He called you guys. Ooh, shots fired there. All right. XRP always bringing up strong emotions. That's one thing for sure. I don't hate it. I don't date it. I just trade it. Still have a little bag. And fun fact, I've said this before, first crypto I ever bought. First one I ever bought. All right. Well, now, Kimo, I want to ask you, we talked about, these cycles. So this is kind of related to that. Now, XRP over the past 7 days has proven it can go up when the rest of the markets go down. I want to ask you, will it be a large or gigantic gulf here if they win the lawsuit in a bear market versus a bull market? Is the timing important when it comes to the final price?
Absolutely. 100%. I think the timing is everything. It's like launching a project in a bear market. You want to try to launch when everything's going your way, and nothing's been going their way, and there's still speculation on their stuff. I mean, 60% of their coin is held by private investors. That's a bank, guys. I'm gonna it's not cryptocurrency. Yes. Do they have an awesome technology? Absolutely. Does it send millions of dollars overseas, over borders? Absolutely. But it's a bank. And when they turn the CBDCs into for real, it'll be the same thing. That's why Ripple wants to work with the banks, because they're part of the banks. They want to work in that process. Now, here is one thing I will give them. They know that, oh, we can't just be Bitcoin and be decentralized. We have to connect to the centralized banking system in order to get in with crypto. So I do give them that. And I do give them that they have all this money that they're putting in universities and they're teaching kids and blockchain and ledgers and all that. That is doing more than a lot of other coins are doing. So I give them some bad props, but also some good props.
All right. And the chat is they're loving your head there. So one person, though, he did want you to wear a wrestling mask, Lucha Libre. Maybe he likes Nacho Libre a lot. I don't know. All right. Now, Forrest, final question here. One, feel free to share your thoughts on XRP and the case. But I want to ask you, looking at this last week, this has certainly changed or made me rethink my answer. How do you think XRP is going to rank this coming bull market? Will it underperform, be average, or overperform?
Tough to tell, but I think the price action has been suppressed for a long time. I would agree with Army Piper there. So I think we could actually see XRP move into some price exploration territory.
Ooh.
Do I think it's going to rip like $10 to $15, $20? Probably not. I don't think it's really, really difficult, for something to move from something of this magnitude, this market cap in the top 5, top 10 cryptocurrencies to do like a 15, 20x, unless you're just talking about from like bear market bottom to bull market top. So even if we do get a positive outcome for the XRP or the Ripple case, I don't think it's going to like 10 to 20x overnight. I'm sure that it could rip and see some really positive speculation, but that could compound into some momentum going into next market cycle. And then, from bear market lows to actually where we end up at next market cycle, I could see a new all-time high coming in. I could absolutely see a new all-time high coming in. And as far as explaining the price action week, look, I'm sure there's some speculation around the case being resolved soon. But I think what's more important here is that this is not being affected by the negative news of the SEC suing Binance and Coinbase, because that has already been long since priced into XRP, right? Like, why would XRP tank because the SEC thinks a bunch of stuff is securities? Like, the market already knew that the SEC thinks XRP is a security. They've been in a court battle about it. So the SEC thinking that other cryptocurrencies are also securities should not bring the price down at all. Again, it's already been priced in. Once we get a positive outcome or even a neutral outcome where XRP can be purchased again, yeah, I do think it'll rip. That news will be very positive if it occurs, and it will have to be priced into the upside. But I think be careful, and you're going to probably see a lot of videos saying XRP to $50, XRP to $25. It's at 52 cents right now. If it 2 to 3x from here off of that news, that would be an incredible return. Don't get greedy.
Okay, and a really good point about XRP, the Coinbase not affecting it. We can't even buy it on Coinbase. So yeah, good point. It really shouldn't. In a vacuum, it should not affect it at all. And looks like the markets, decided to put their money where the mouth is, or at least those prediction markets did, as AJ gave us the alpha there. But that is all we have time for. And we have one of our rare ties. So we're going to split the time. Army, you go first, and then we'll end it with Forrest. Both of y'all just leave us with some parting thoughts. And then fight about XRP.
I just want to thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate you, DZ. It's awesome when you guys give me this opportunity. If you guys haven't gone over yet, go to @chartprime.com. They're giving away 5 quarterly subscriptions, so go check that out. It's how I make my living. Chart Prime, love the indicators, best indicators in the market. But thank you guys for having me on, and thanks for all the other fellow guests. I always appreciate sharing time with you guys. So,
Forrest, go ahead. Oh, you're muted. It's the XRP army coming after you.
Yeah.
Oof. Don't worry, I'll help defend him. I got his back.
I was muted. Sorry, guys. Echo everything that Army Piper said. Go follow everyone on Twitter and YouTube. Appreciate you guys having me on the show.
All right, always a great time. Make sure you hit that like button. I'm gonna go look for a Boring Company flamethrower, and I'm gonna burn this building down. I have a spider to catch. Easy out.